Well, hello everybody. Welcome to another spicy ramen review. The ramen that I'm featuring today is something that I picked up at the local Kroger a couple days ago. This is number one kimchi brand in Korea, Jonga Real Fiery Kimchi Stir-Fried Ramen by O Food. It is supposed to be fiery hot. I'm a little bit skeptical of this because this is probably the third or fourth kimchi flavored ramen that claims to include a packet of the number one kimchi brand in Korea. But we'll see. We'll see. Let's see what the little slogan is here. Ignite taste buds, one slurp, full blaze. Okay, so I have filled up to the fill line in this little microwavable bowl with water, and I've microwaved it for 5 minutes. Now I'm supposed to drain it, and I'm supposed to mix in these two packets. I've got the real fiery kimchi sauce packet, and I've got the real kimchi pack. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and try out this ramen. Alright, I have mixed in the fiery kimchi sauce, and the kimchi, the number one kimchi brand by Jonga. I will say something ostensibly in this ramen's favor, which is that the fermentation aroma that came wafting out of this packet was strong. Okay, the fermented cabbage aroma, oh yeah. Not only did it assault my nostrils, but it kind of infiltrated my entire kitchen. So that's some authentic kimchi that's in this. So let's go ahead. I'll show you, give you a little look here. Everything is mixed in here. We are going to try Real Fiery Kimchi by O Foods. Real Fiery Kimchi Ramen. Supposedly containing the number one kimchi brand in Korea. And, my God, oh boy, that odor. Well, let's hope that extremely pungent odor that is coming out of this ramen is paired with amazing flavor. Because, my grandma used to make sauerkraut from scratch. And I love the flavor of sauerkraut, but, oh man, the smell. Here we go. Wow. Oh, the kimchi in that has wonderful, robust, very sour and spicy flavor. That is really good kimchi. So, the star of this little ramen creation is clearly the kimchi. I'm almost ready to say that I completely believe that this is the number one kimchi brand in Korea. But then we get to the problems, all right? Because that aspect of it is delicious. That is really, really, really good spicy kimchi. There's not much to this, sauce. I mean, I didn't really take the time. I'm going to squeeze as much as I can get out of this. Maybe there's a couple more drops. But I don't think that's not going to salvage the flavor of this ramen. We have some really nice, very, very heavily fermented spicy kimchi mixed into that ramen. But what we don't have is a flavorful sauce. I mean, I feel like the only purpose of this, the only thing that this does for this particular bowl of ramen is it just gives it a little bit of heat. I'm assuming because there's oleoresin and capsicum in it. It doesn't add flavor to it. The flavor rests entirely on the deliciousness of the kimchi packet, not the sauce packet. As far as I can see. I mean, I'm gonna do another like kind of vigorous mix here. But yeah, I get it. You know, you want to have your fiery sauce. You want to add heat to the ramen. You gotta add flavor too. You know, bulldog ramen sauce. Yeah, it's super hot. It's also absolutely delicious, unlike this. I mean, maybe the theory behind the creation of this ramen was let's have a sauce packet that only really adds heat, doesn't have that much flavor to it, and let's let the kimchi be exclusively what flavors the ramen. We know this is just for heat, this is for the flavor. But, I mean, I have to think about this one. I have to think about whether or not that works for me. If this fiery kimchi sauce was only intended to add heat, I don't really think it added quite enough for my liking. And I'm not just saying this as, you know, a chili head with ridiculous tolerance, because my tolerance is actually down right now. I really don't feel like this added sufficient heat. Maybe if it did. You know, maybe if this was just pure fire, combined with a admittedly quite delicious kimchi, maybe if that was what was going on with these two flavor packets, I would give this a high rating. But it's not really that spicy. I mean, I'm at like maybe a 2. But I mean, this is supposed to be fiery. This is supposed to be fiery. I want to be burned up by this kimchi ramen, and I am not being burned up by this kimchi ramen. I suppose a novice would be a little bit alarmed by the heat in this. Okay, I will admit that. I mean, I'm starting to get the method behind the madness a little bit more as I continue to eat this, because maybe I should have let this sit for a little bit after I mixed everything up. Maybe I should have let it sit for a little bit and let the flavors kind of settle a little bit and mix together before, you know, rushing to record a video. Because I am starting to enjoy this more with every bite. And I think maybe I was too impatient. I was just like, I want to record a ramen video. Let's just mix everything together. As soon as it comes out of the microwave and gets drained, and, you know, we're just going to, like, give our first impressions, 2 minutes after all this stuff has been mixed together. I am starting to taste flavors developing in that. And I think this will probably improve as it sits longer. I will say too, the texture of the noodles is not mushy at all. I was a little bit worried, you know, about microwaving it for 5 minutes. I was like, these are ramen noodles we're talking about. Isn't that going to make them super mushy? No. They have a nice, you know, firmness, semi-chewiness. They hold the sauce well. And I'm starting to taste more and more and more a quite enjoyable flavor in that ramen. So, if I hadn't kind of waited around a little bit longer and let those flavors sit a little bit longer than just 2 minutes, I probably would have given this ramen a 5. But now it's up to a 7. Not going to say that it's probably... I don't believe that it's likely that it's going to rise above a 7. But it is a 7, which makes it a well above average ramen. And the heat, while it really hasn't transcended a 2, it is lingering in a way that I like. All right? I've got some numbness and tingliness on my lips. My tongue's kind of tingly too. You know, both sides of my mouth and my throat have a kind of pleasant burn going. And the noodles are gradually being infused with a nice kimchi flavor. So, in conclusion, if you pick this up at your local Kroger or Fred Meyer, and you prepare it according to the package directions, my recommendation is don't just let the flavors sit there for like 2 minutes, and not even 5. Give it 10. Give it 10 minutes. And then, you know, if you don't like ramen that's kind of like going back down to room temperature, maybe, you know, heat it up in the microwave for like 15, 20, 30 seconds, something like that. Then you can have your nice hot ramen where the flavors have been allowed to blend together. And by my standards, this is a 7 out of 10. I don't love kimchi. I do like it. But as far as kimchi flavored ramens goes, this is exemplary. Yeah, I am changing my mind. Let's take one more bite for the road and see if it's improved even beyond a 7. Maybe it has. It's still a 7. But now I'm tasting something from this sauce packet that I didn't really get before, which is it's got a sweetness to it. And that just strikes me as bizarre. How is it that on the first 4, 5, 6 bites, I didn't really taste a sweetness to it? But now I do. And I like that. I like that. The sweetness is a nice counterbalance to the spicy sourness of the fermented cabbage in the kimchi packet. So I'm going to give it a 7.5 now. Wow. So that was an interesting evolution here, wasn't it? Started at, I'm going to give this probably a 5, lame, mediocre, not that flavorful, not spicy enough, to there's a lingering burn that is actually quite pleasant. There's now sweetness emerging in the flavor of it. And it's got a delicious, sour fermented kimchi flavor. So yeah, now it's at a 7.5. Quite a good ramen. Quite a good ramen. You have to give these things time, I suppose, is the message to take from this particular video. Give these things time. I like this. All right.